Hello and welcome to We the People. Most people believe that the single biggest crisis confronting India today is the state of the economy. Against the backdrop of the hotly debated increase in the price of petrol, one that has quite predictably triggered a political storm. On We the People today, we're taking a larger look at subsidies. Subsidies is one economic philosophy that seems to divide public opinion down the middle. On We the People today, we ask whether subsidies are really pro the aam aadmi or are they in fact dragging the economy down. Let me start with you, Manishankar Iyer, if I may. When you step back and you look at this debate, let's start with fuel subsidies. Where do you win on it?
I stand exactly where I stood as Minister of Petroleum, where I adumbrated the doctrine of equitable burden sharing, that any time there is a need owing to the rise in crude prices abroad to raise the prices of our regulated petroleum products, then the first to take a hit should be the upstream companies who earn rentier profits. Secondly, the downstream companies who must also take a hit and not attempt to cheat people into thinking that under recoveries equals losses. Third, the central government. Fourth, the worst category of the lot, the state governments who refuse to do what they prescribe the central government should be doing. And last of all, whatever is the residual burden that the consumer should take. And in doing this, we must recognize that the kind of consumer of petrol is different to the kind of consumer of kerosene, and that there are two intermediate products, diesel and LPG, where there is too much of the subsidy going to the rich who can easily afford to pay the full price. I would particularly urge a really swinging tax on diesel cars and a complete ban. Now that, of course, will cause people like my friend here to go through the ceiling, but I would say a complete ban on SUVs. I know
a ban on
SUVs. A ban on SUVs. And I know that happens. I know the minute that happens.
Sunita is agreeing and Surjit hasn't yet gone through the roof.
Tatas from India, Mrs. Clinton from America, David Cameron from England will come and play the pressure on us. And they've got plenty of acolytes here who say it's wrong economics to indulge in all this. But my point is that while there is scope for rationalizing subsidies, there is none for giving it up. As long as this country has 1 billion poor and vulnerable people, there is no scope whatsoever to just do away with subsidies. The one subsidy I believe we should give up immediately is tax concessions to the 3 crore people who pay direct taxes.
Okay,
I think that is criminal.
That's a number of different points in that statement, including banning SUVs, and Surjit Bhalla is still sitting quite calmly and hasn't yet gone through the roof. Surjit Bhalla, this is actually, in a sense, where the debate gets sharply divided. Because it isn't that people don't agree on the problem, but they disagree on the solution. Now, what Manishankar Iyer is saying is, given the economic inequities, how can you even argue that market forces should determine the responsibilities of a state?
Well, both you and Mani might be quite surprised, actually, that I don't like SUVs. And if you will, there are appropriate ways of, if you will, not banning, but taxing. And
so you'd support a higher tax for those who drive SUVs or diesel cars?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's nobody's case, whether you call them market or whether you call them Marxist or whatever. It's nobody's case that any economy in the world runs without subsidies. No.
So it's which subsidies do you need and which subsidies do you not?
And then how do you adjust for the fact that you're paying for those subsidies? There are good subsidies and there are bad subsidies.
So what's a bad
taxes,
subsidy?
Bad subsidies. I think Mani has mentioned several of them: LPG, diesel, petroleum, and then we can go on to food subsidies also, whether in urban areas do you need it, etc.
So you believe give me a second, Rajiv. You believe you want to add to that?
One example of a bad subsidy, which is probably shocking, which is kerosene subsidy. Because out of the 10,000 crore that you give as subsidies, 9,000 crore goes for adulteration of other fuels. No poor person ever uses
completely untrue.
No, that's not true. Absolutely true.
It's completely untrue.
Yes.
No. Kirit Parekh, it was your committee in a sense that first recommended the deregulation of the petrol and oil sector. Kerosene subsidies, let's take that, because what happens is that debates get trapped in good politics, and some would say bad economics. Is it bad politics, bad economics, or is it good politics, bad economics, or is it good politics, good economics?
No, I think kerosene subsidy is necessary as long as people in rural India need kerosene for lighting. If you cannot provide them electricity, if they are not connected, even if when they are connected, they do not have electricity, they need to use kerosene. A subsidy can become a good subsidy in terms of its intentions and objective, can become a bad subsidy if it is poorly implemented.
Do you have the NDTV Profit app? All the markets, all the news and your own homemade, ready-made portfolio available there for you.
We will right now answer what you should sell, what you should buy when markets are down.
Download at ndtvprofit.com/apps. Get the best app from the channel you trust.